How you doing? This is David Powers. I'm here at Coastal Sports in Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. My good buddy Will Abbott, the owner. We're going to talk a little bit about coffee and, of course, guns while we're here. So, Will, you started buying Larry's Coffee, which I just got you drinking a big cup of. So tell me about Larry's Coffee and why you went with them in lieu of what you used to carry.
Well, we've always had coffee for the customers to drink here at Coastal Sports, and popcorn and other assorted things just as a hangout location. We used a commercially available coffee that'll remain nameless, but they're kind of standard in the industry, and they had our business for our coffee machine and our coffee and creamers and sugar at a highly exorbitant rate for many years. One day my range master John introduced us to Larry's Beans that he and his lovely wife had been drinking for years, having gone up to Asheville a good bit camping and stopped by their location and met them, seeing what nice people they were. He brought some in with a grinder and ground it fresh for us, and the difference in it and the brown water we had been drinking prior to that time was the difference in night and day. So now we cuss John whenever we have to buy our coffee, because I, for one, have started again drinking coffee after the first time in 15 or 20 years, other than 3 or 4 cups a winter, mostly to get warm, not for the flavor, but I like the flavor of this, so now I've got another monkey on my back.
Yeah, and I looked at Larry's website to just check him out a little bit in the company, and I'll be honest with you, he looked like a bit of a nut. So tell me what you know about Larry. I'm sure you've talked to him.
Don't know the man. I haven't personally spoken with him. I know he's got some good ideas on environmentalism and trying to do things in a green, clean way. And they're heavy into fair trade and organic process, but haven't personally met him. All I know is what he puts across in his flyers and on his website. And, marketing is everything there. So who am I to say?
Yeah. And Larry, when you see this, I didn't mean nut in a bad way. It looked like you have a lot of fun, though.
We're nuts too.
Yeah, we're all nuts, just about different things. And so while we're here at Coastal Sports, surrounded by guns, Will, if you'd tell me one thing I've always wanted to know, I've carried for a long time myself, and carried a Glock just because it's famous, that's what I'm used to. If money were not an issue, what's the best personal self-defense handgun you'd recommend?
My personal favorite self-defense handgun is probably, I'd have to say, a Wilson Combat CQB. For close quarter battle, it's a 1911 A1 style pistol. It's my first love. That's what I learned to shoot with whenever I was 12 years old, and I've been carrying them and shooting them ever since. It's an 1.5-inch capable gun at 25 yards and 100% reliable. I've got one that's had tens of thousands of rounds through it and never hiccuped, including 3,000 and 4,000 rounds at a time at classes with no cleaning in between over the course of several days, being dropped in the dirt, drug around, slung around, beat on, and it's just as tough as nails. They're not cheap, but nothing good ever is.
Yeah, and most of you aren't going to go through what Will goes through with a gun, but that does mean that it'll be okay to gather dust in the bottom of your purse, in the nightstand drawer, the glove box in your car. So which means it'd be the best gun for you if money's not an issue and you want to buy something great for self-defense or concealed carry. Now, Will, I'm a big zombie movie buff, so I always have to ask, if the zombie attack, or rather when the zombie attack occurs, what would you recommend as the best platform for a semi-automatic weapon?
Well, zombies are like anything else. You want to get them as far away as possible. So in a perfect world where money was no object, I would probably try to go with a ring perimeter. Somewhere out around 800 to 1,000 yards, I'd start engaging them with a Barrett semi-automatic, 50 caliber. Get some pretty serious glass on it. Below 500 yards, then you get into any good bolt action 30 caliber rifle with good glass, or something like a Springfield M1A. Along those lines, any of the AR-10 platforms. And under 200 yards, it's hard to beat a good old AR-15 or AK-47. The primary thing to remember with zombies is they just keep coming, and you need lots of bullets. So high capacity is your friend. I myself prefer 30-round magazines. There's some 100-round drum magazines on the market, but they're really expensive. So buy a lot of 30-round magazines, and as far as ammo goes, buy it cheap and stack it deep, for everything you got. Once they get within 25 yards, it's hard to beat a good old 12-gauge shotgun with buckshot. And at bad breath distance, have a high-capacity pistol. I'm a big advocate of high-capacity pistols of the Springfield XD series, but Glocks and SIGs, Berettas, HKs are all good guns as well. The main thing with zombies is always be vigilant, because they're coming. We just don't know when.
Yeah, and let's say if you're unprepared, some of you won't be prepared for this. Like me and Will, we're stocked. You know, we got food buried in the backyard, that kind of thing, because as any responsible person should. But of course, if you're unprepared, you have to take whatever's handy. Now, you brought up an issue as far as AK versus the AR. What's your personal preference on that one?
6 of one, half dozen of the other. Flip a coin.
Yeah.
As I've always liked to say, the man is the weapon, the gun is just a tool he uses to accomplish the job. They're both dissimilar platforms. The AK is what I call a pipe plate gun, meaning at reasonable distances it'll put most of its bullets in a pipe plate. The AR in a good version is a golf ball gun. It'll put most of its bullets out to 100 yards in a golf ball. Although it's a smaller, lighter bullet, it's fast. On zombies, either one will do well with headshots, I would say.
Okay, all right. Well, Will, I want to thank you for letting me come in and sample some of your coffee and sample some of your knowledge. And like I said, Will Abbott, Coastal Sports, check him out online, and also Larry's Beans out of North Carolina, and I'll put those links up on the blog as well. Thanks, guys.